ओम श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं. We are studying Sri Shankaracharya's Atmabodha here, and we have studied up to 9 shlokas, and we have seen that the speciality of this book is that nowhere he uses logic or reason. He uses the Upamana Praman. The example is given in every shloka. He states the truth and gives the example. And we have seen up till now, in the first shloka, he told us the adhikar. Tapovi kshina papanam, those who have removed their sinful tendencies through tapasya, austerities, and we have seen this, the best reference is in the Gita, Sharirik, Vachik, and Manasik austerities. And thereby they have cultivated the Shat Sampatti, Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Samadhan, and Shraddha. And they have developed Vivek and Vairagya, Vitaragina, and they have Mumuksha, the keen yearning for being freedom from the bondages. For such people, he says, I am prescribing this Atma Bodha. And after that, he says that compared to the other means used in getting freedom, the main means is Bodha, the change of consciousness. As fire is the main means in cooking food, though we may require pot and water and other things, but fire is the main thing to cook the food. So we may require so many auxiliary things, but change of consciousness is the main means. And then he says, karma cannot be the means because karma means subject, object consciousness and the relation thereof. And this is not being opposite to our wrong knowledge, false knowledge. It cannot remove the effect of wrong knowledge. And Vidya is the cultivation of right knowledge that will definitely remove the wrong knowledge, just as the light destroys darkness. And then he says that because of wrong knowledge, the unlimited reality of ours appears to be circumscribed in this body, just like small clouds obstruct the very big sun. And when the clouds go away, we see the sun in full. So when this wrong knowledge goes away, we shall realize our real nature, which is infinite. And this knowledge requires mind to begin with. And it ends in a mental wave that I am Brahman. Now this destroys the wrong knowledge that I am a Jiva. But then what happens to this vritti? So if this remains, then that knowledge is not complete. And so he says that this vritti being born of wrong knowledge, when the wrong knowledge goes away, this vritti also goes away, and you are left with your own real nature, which is Brahman. Example is given that we put alum to purify water. Along with the impurities, the alum also goes down. Then doubts come to our mind, one after the other, because of our long association with this wrong knowledge. And so one by one, he is clearing them. And one thing is that we see this world, how it can be unreal. He says, same experience we get in dream. And dream appears to be real so long as we are dreaming. When we wake up from the dream, it vanishes. Similarly, with the example of dream, he explains that this is also sleeping because we are not seeing or perceiving our real nature. When that waking up comes, this also will vanish. How long we shall see this? So long as we do not know the real nature. For that he gives the example that we see silver in nacre. When we know it is nacre, then the silver idea will go away. No other cause other than not knowing the reality. And then as Upadan Karan, as the material cause of the universe is this very reality of ours, which we call Brahman. Here he calls it Vishnu. Vishnu is the name given to Brahman when we think of its immanence or all-pervading nature. So this all-pervading nature, which is of the nature of existence and bliss, that manifests itself through all the forms, just as the different ornaments are nothing but the manifestations of gold. And then he gives the example of Akasha, because we feel we are different from God, we feel we are different from each other, we feel, but it is not real. For that, he gives the example of Akasha. Akasha in a jar, Akasha in a house, Akasha in the field. Akasha is one without a second, relatively. And so, Akasha pervades everything. And yet, inside, outside, everything, only Akasha is there. The Akasha has not been broken into parts. There is no difference between Matakasha and Ghatakasha. And so the appearance may be there, but the reality is one, inside, outside, in me, in you, in God, everywhere, where the same reality. Up till this we had read. Now we come to the 10th shloka. Nanopadi eva jati varnashramadayah atmani aropita stoye rasa varnadi bhedavat. We experience that different castes are there. Caste need not necessarily be defined as in Hinduism, but we are born differently. That is the meaning of the word jati. We are born differently in different circumstances, in different families. We are born differently. And Varna, this is categorized. The jati, the special birth have been categorized into people with more sattva gun, people with rajogun, people with tamogun. So in this way we get what is called varna. And then we are small children, we go for education, then people marry and settle down as householders, then they go to forest to meditate, then they become sannyasis. This is called ashram. So this creates a difference in our mind because we read the scriptures prescribe. If this is the jati, then you should do like this. If this is your varna, you should do like this. If this is your stage of life, you should do like this. So the Shastras have defined different duties, different paths of sadhana also, depending upon the birth which you have, the stage of life which you have. So it creates a sense of realism in us. Are they not different? To that the reply is Nano Padi Vashad Eva. So we have to explain here the word Upadi. Now, my real nature is Satchidananda. Body is not my real nature. Indriyas are not my real nature. Pranas are not my real nature. Mind is not my real nature. But somehow or other I assumed it. This is called Upadi. The meaning of Upadi is that which is not real nature, and yet somehow there is an appearance of this that is called Upadi. So, where you are born, what you are, does not depend, the Atman does not depend upon them. Atman is one without a second. My Atman, your Atman is not different, we have been told. My Atman and God's Atman is not different, we have been told. We have been shown. So the difference appears due to the, technically it is called limiting adjunct. My body, my mind is my limiting adjunct. The real meaning is that it is not my real nature, something which has somehow come upon me. So, where the a man is born, in which country he is born, this is only upadhi. The Atman is all pervading. Similarly, whether I am more sattva guna, rajoguna, tamoguna, that is my mind, not myself. So these Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra are also upadhis. And whether I am a small child or I am a householder or I am a sannyasin, these are also depends upon my bodily and mental growth. Atman is not affected by that. So it is due to different upadhis, the difference in upadhis that this jati, varna and ashram are spoken of. They have been superimposed upon Atman. Atmani aropita. Aropita. Just they have been put on Atman. They are not the real nature of Atman. Example, water is there, it has neither color nor taste. But if you make something, it assumes that taste and that color. If you put a little salt, it will become salty. If you put a little sugar, it will become sweet. But that is not the nature of water. Now, we sometimes see in the rainy season, no dirt or dust is mixed up simply because the level is different. We see different colors in water. No color has come there. Only appearance of color has come there. So water appears having different taste. Water appears having different colors, not its real nature. This is the example given to show that due to the limiting adjuncts, we put sugar so it is sweet. We put salt so it is salty. And because the sun rays radiate differently, so the color appearance is there. Or we have put some colored things, so the color is there. It is not water's nature. Similarly, Atman has absolutely no difference, even due to sex. Sri Purush Atman is not different. Brahmin, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Atman is not different. Hindu, Muslim, Atman is not different. Indian, Englishman, American, Atman is not different. And stages of life, the child's ego is different, but child's Atman is not different. So the example of water is given to show that these differences appear due to the different associations, not in Atman itself. We move on to 11. Panchikruta Mahabhuta Sambhavam Karma Sanchitam Shariram Sukha Dukkhanam Bhoga Yatana Muchyate. Now 11, 12 and 13, he talks of three bodies. Our gross body, the subtler body and the causal body. And he is telling that Atman is same in all the bodies. Atman is not different because the body is differing. Because he has already told that Jati Varnashrama. So from that he has taken up the principle of gross, subtle and causal bodies. Here, for the non-initiate, those who are not habituated to Vedanta, I will have to tell something in great detail. Please bear with me. Panchikruta Mahabhuta Sambhava. So I have to explain what are the Mahabhutas and I have to explain what is Panchikruta. Now, I will start with some science knowledge because that has become more common these days. Science first told us that there are 92 elements. Now they have gone on increasing, maybe 105, I do not know the number. And we know that none of them are elements, and yet we call them elements. Element idea was come because they are the fundamental principles. They cannot change their nature. They can combine, recombine, but they will not change their nature. That was the meaning of the word element. But then came this nuclear physics. And we know that each atom of every element is made of, we know means theoretically, that it is made of protons, electrons, neutrons, and God knows what. Photon came. These days they have made one God particle. People say they have found God. They cannot know the name of it, so they said God particle. Now, the funny thing is that science does not propose that anything of this can be seen. It is hypothesis. Whatever proofs they give is only verification, no proof. They do not have the capacity nor they propose to show us proton or electron. What they show is the effect in a test tube. What they show is only what is available to our five senses. And so it is very, very, very weak or hypothetical solution. In India, never believed in hypothetical solutions. What we perceive, science is analysis of the objective world, supposing it is objective and we are subject. That itself they do not know. Indian philosophies are called critique of experience. What we experience, that is analyzed and that is explained. Now, can we experience anything in this world other than Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha, other than sound, touch, form, taste, and smell? Can we perceive anything till we rise higher in our consciousness and perceive Atman directly? In the existing world, we cannot perceive anything other than these five things. Now I am trying to explain rationally, but the thing is Rishi's experience. So there has to be something in everything which gives me the perception of sound. There has to be something in everything which gives me the perception of touch. That must be something in everything which allows me to see the form. There must be something which makes me taste it. There must be something which I smell it. So these are the fundamental particles. Now I try to explain by analyzing our experience. But now the yogis, the rishis, everything who has a subtler experience can perceive this. Elemental, these are the elements. Names are given according to the property. For example, sound I get where? From Akash. So it is called the fundamental principle named Akasha. It is not this Akasha at all. Not that we are combining this Akasha and water. Air is what we perceive. Air by touch, heat or cold, hard or soft, this is all the air touch. So that element which induces touch is given the name Vayu or air. Now, what I see by my eyes, either color or dimensions, nothing more. And so, the name given is Teja, sometimes called Agni, sometimes called this or that. The without light we do not see. So the name given to this element is light element. It is not light which we see. It is the element which generates the light perception in us. Then taste. Taste comes from water. The saliva in the tongue creates taste. And so that which generates taste is given the name of water, not this water at all. The thing which generates smell, smell comes from earth. Flowers are from earth, and the earth itself has a smell. Those who have perceived it, when the hot summer has heated the earth and first raindrops come, we get the pure smell of the earth. So earth is the source of smell. So the name given to this element is smell. Now they are subtle. And the definition of subtle is not small. Definition of subtle is they cannot be pursued by our five senses. That which cannot be pursued by our five senses, yogis can perceive, rishis can perceive, but not by our five senses. Swami Vivekananda, in defining Veda, is told that which is pursued by five senses and reason built upon it, Anuman built upon it, is in the region of physical sciences. And that, Swamiji's language I am using, Yogaja Sukshma Shakti Grahya.
Huh?
Yogaja Sukshma Shakti Grahya. That is by practicing religion, a subtler power is aroused in us, and by that subtler power, what we grasp is called Vedas. So the rishis get subtler power, the yogis get subtler power, and they perceive the fundamental elements. And the fundamental elements are all pervading. Everywhere they are there. So they are called Mahabhuta. Mahabhuta means the fundamental elements not perceivable by our gross senses, but perceivable by yogis or rishis. They constitute our physical world. That is, they are called Mahabhutas. Now, they are subtle, we cannot perceive them. When they combine, we perceive them. I will give an example of science again. Hydrogen is a gas, oxygen is a gas. When it combines, you get water, which is the liquid, comparatively more perceivable. Hydrogen is a gas, chlorine is a gas, hydrochloric acid is a liquid. We get one liquid, put another liquid into it, we get solid precipitate. So combination always makes the thing grosser. So when they combination, students of chemistry please, compound and mixture is different. Suppose this hydrogen and oxygen could have coexisted. They are very two gases. They combine. According to the physical sciences, hypothetically, hydrogen has a proton and one electron is moving around it. Chlorine has a proton and 7 electrons are moving around it. And it becomes full when there are 8 electrons. So when they come near, the protons join each other and this one electron is donated to that. They become combined and 8 electrons are floating. A little science I told you, and when this combine, we get the hydrochloric acid. So these five fundamental elements combine like this. Now we cannot have measurement there because they are certain. But we imagine rather that half of, suppose we take the space element and 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8 from the other four elements and we combine. So predominantly it will be Akasha element. Suppose we take half of Vayu element. What is meant by half is impossible to tell. How can we make half of the subtle elements? But we see that if half of the Vayu element is there and 1/8, 1/8, 1/8 of the other elements will combine, we get the gross Vayu which we can perceive. Because of the predominance of Vayu element, we will call it Vayu. Rather, Vayu We have given the name to that element because finally it becomes this perceivable Vayu. Light. Half of light element, one-eighth of others. When it becomes a compound, we call it the light cross which we can perceive. Similarly, water element half, one-eighth of the other four. When they combine, mainly it will be water and we will have taste, and so it is called the water cross. Earth or clay, whatever you like to call it, half of that element, one-eighth of the others. When it combines, the predominant will be earth element and we will have smell. But another thing, the previous properties will be there. Akasha itself, little more gross is Vayu. Vayu little grossified is light. Light little more grossified is water. Water more grossified is earth. So, if Akasha is the sound property, Vayu has sound property plus touch property. Light has sound property plus touch property plus form property. Water has sound, touch, appearance, and taste property. Earth has all these four plus smell property. I think I explained to you Panchikaranam. Panchikaranam means combination of five. Now, mixture, that will come in the next sloka actually, for mixture. That means my mind has all the five elements, but uncombined they stay together. That is mind. We'll come to that next. That here, Panchikruta Mahabhuta Sambhavam. He is explaining our gross body, not splitting into how much phosphorus or nitrogen is there. They are the names given by us. They are not elements at all. Neither it is being shown how much bones or flesh or fat is there. They are also appearances. They are all forms of earth only. So, in a fundamental way, according to our experience, it is called that the Panchikruta Mahabhuta Sambhavam, born out of the compounded five elements. Elements you understood? Those things which you actually experience. From that we are naming them. It is much more fundamental than the so-called elements and protons and all that which we do not see. So, this combined five elements, from that born is our gross body. Gross body means that body which we perceive. Karma sanchitam. But how we get this body? Force behind getting this body is the work done in our past life. According to the work done in our past life, we get a mind. And according to that mind, this body comes. Two people, both are human beings. So they are not, the body is not like a tiger or a fish or anything. It is human body. But no two humans have the same body. No two humans. Human body, normal human body, one nose, two eyes, two ears, etc., etc. But no two noses are similar, same. No two eyes are similar. No ears are similar. So this is caused by what we have worked in the past life. This again, I am trying to explain, but it is Rishi's perception. What we have worked in the last life, I'll give an example. A man has been stealthily doing things. His mind has become a stealthy mind. He will get cat's birth in the next birth. A man has been ferocious like a tiger in human life. He will get a tiger body. So according, these are gross things I'm telling, but subtler thing. According to how much purity, impurity, how much bhogaspura, all that we have, our bodies differ. So our bodies are made out of compounded 5 elements, but the type of body which you have, the details of the body which you have are according to our last birth's karma. Karma sanchitam. Not only last birth after birth you have done karma, and the most prominent sanskar of that karma gives us this body. This is called Sthula Sharir. And how we recognize it? For us, Sukha Dukkhanam Bhoga Yatanam Uchate. Bhoga Ayatanam. In this life, we experience pleasure and pain. To experience that, this is the container. Staying in this gross body, we are Atman. And somehow Atman has become associated with the gross body. So staying in this gross body, we enjoy pleasure or pain, enjoy or experience pleasure or pain. Bhogayatanam uchyate. So this body is called the container staying in which we experience pleasure or pain. It is particularized due to past karmas made of the compounded 5 elements. What he wants to tell, that he will tell after describing all the 3 bodies. Here, no example is given because no principle is stated. Only how the gross body and what it is has been taught. So we go to the next shloka. Pancha prana mano buddhi dashendriya samanvitam apanchikruta bhutotham sukshmangam bodhaga sadhanam. Prana means the energy functions in our life. They are subtle. What are the energy functions? We inhale, we exhale. There is a pump in our lungs that throws the air out, that draws the air in. So some energy is working there. We digest food. So something like fire is there. What is digestion? Converting food into what? Flesh, blood, bones, marrow, skin. All this is out of our food. And the grossmost part is rejected. And the subtlest part goes to build up our mind. So there is an energy which converts the eaten food. The science will give the outside details, pancreas, this, that, but there is an energy working in it. And the energy converts the food which you have eaten and the water which you have taken into the different elements of the body. So this is an energy function. And then blood circulation. This God's made machine is wonderful. Every second you may say, more than every second, blood is pumped out from the heart to the extremes of the body. Fingertips, nail tips, everywhere the blood is circulated and brought back. So there is this energy function which propels the blood to all the parts and draws it back to get purified. This is another function. I did not tell the names. That which we exhale is called prana. That which we inhale is called apana. That which digests food is called samana. That which circulates blood is called vyana. And the fifth form of energy is used only when we transmigrate from one body to the other. But in this body, we can experience it in the form of ekam. So these are the 5 energy functions which cannot be seen. What science will show from this nerve or that nerve, but it cannot show the energy function. So this is called prana, five prana. Then mind. Many people do not believe even there is a mind. Mind is the instrument which is given to us to cogitate, to think, to doubt. Something is approaching. There is no need, but the mind starts thinking, is my friend or not? Is a man or woman? So this pros and cons handling is mind. That is the instrument, inner instrument, subtler instrument. Buddhi, then it comes to a determination. This is this. So this is another energy function which determines things. Then we have 10 organs of action. These eyes are not the instrument of seeing. These eyes is a place where the energy plays to show us things. Ears is a place, location, where the energy plays to get sound. So five organs of perception, five organs of action, hands, feet, speech, and the lower functions. Now you combine all this. None of them we can see. Pancha pranas, mind and buddhi, and the 10 organs, samanvitam, combination of all these, from where it comes. Apanchikrita bhutottam. We described first the subtler elements, the fundamental elements uncombined. So from the uncombined subtler elements this comes. And that is why you cannot normally perceive. There also I will say the yogis perceive, the rishis perceive. To that extent, Shri Krishna used to say, you are all sitting before me. I see different minds. So they can directly perceive. There are many sadhakas who can perceive others' minds. So these are made of the fundamental, uncombined, subtle elements. Apanchikruta means not combined. Bhuta means elements. Uttam means born out of that. Sukshmangam, they are all subtle parts of us which they cannot be perceived by normal eyes. Now, what is their function in our life? Bhoga sadhanam. Body is bhoga yatanam, the place where we sit and enjoy. And how we enjoy? Through these things. Through prana function, through indriya function, through mind and buddhi, we go on enjoying. So, bhoga sadhan, the instruments of enjoyment are these. See, beautiful analysis, not phosphorus and nitrogen and this nerve and that nerve. So, this subtle body is made of pancha prana, mana, buddhi and dasha indriyas. It is made from the uncompounded elements there. That is our sukshma part of our life, and that is the means of our enjoyment. Then अनादि अविद्या अनिर्वाच्य कारणोपाधिरुच्यते उपाधि तृतीयात् अन्यम आत्मानम अवधारये. Avidya is wrong knowledge. When has it begun? Can you tell me? We are in that. We are in wrong knowledge. We cannot, in dream, can we say when the dream started? So, anadi means beginningless. Avidya means wrong knowledge. Anirvacha. Anirvacha means, is it real or unreal? If this avidya is unreal, it has produced all the apparent real things in life. If it is real, it will vanish when we know, so it can be real. Because it will vanish when we know, so it cannot be called real. Because it has produced this world, it cannot be called unreal. Now the trouble is that our experience does not get exhausted by real and unreal. There is some other category. And what is that category? Anirvacha. We cannot determine real or unreal. This is our wrong knowledge. It is anadi. It is called karana upadi. Upadi again means the limiting adjunct or something come upon us because it is wrong knowledge. Karana means it is the cause from which we get the subtle elements and the gross elements, from which we get our subtler body and the gross body. To experience this, let us think of our deep sleep. Nothing is there. Everything is there in seed form. Nothing is there pursued. Everything is there in seed form. In the dream, everything is there in the subtler form. This gross world vanishes. But we are seeing, feeling, touching. That is the subtle world. I told you, yogis can see, rishis can see. We can see in our dream state. And this gross body. So everything is born from that causal wrong knowledge, which we can know in our deep sleep. These are the upadi. This is not the real nature of Atman, but it is a wrong knowledge. Now he gives the principle, what he wants to tell. Upadi tritayat adnyam. These are the three upadis, three things which we feel ourselves, which are not ourselves. That is the meaning of upadi. We feel I am this body, we feel I am this mind, and we feel I am there in the deep sleep, unrefined. All this we feel as ourselves, but they are not ourselves. They are somehow they have come upon us due to wrong knowledge. So wrong knowledge is the seed of all this. Now, Atman is different from all this. Our real nature has nothing to do with the gross body, and therefore the Jati Brahma Kula Varna Shrama does not exist in the gross body, in the Atman. Atman has nothing to do with the subtle body. Atman has nothing to do with the causal body in deep sleep. So, Upadi Tritayat Anyam Atmanam Avadharaye. Avadharayat means dharana, concept. Avadharayat means nishchay, a definite conception which will result into experience later. A definite conception which when cultivated will become our experience later on. That is called avadharaya. Atma is different from all this. By viveka, by discrimination, we'll find that Atman is our real nature is different from all this, and this we have to conceive and then change it into experience. So, because of this, through science known to us, I try to explain. I hope it will become very clear. So we go to 14. Another idea, another type of analysis. Panchakoshadi yoge na tattanmaya iva sthita शुद्धात्मा नील वस्त्रादि योगेन स्फटिको यथा. Panchakosh, I have to explain. What we feel unanalytically and the body. Then I understand, as he has told Bhogayatan, I live in this body. Body is what I use. I am not body. I am inside this body. By evolution of consciousness, we feel this. So what the body should be called then? A sheath, a cover, which was felt as myself, and we know that I am inside is, so that is felt as a cover. This is called kosha. Then what we feel? I am the sense organs, or pancha prana and all this. What I am? I perceive. I perceived Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, that I am. And this is done by my indriyas, organs. So I am my organs. This is the common man, or we. I have become blind. Right? Your eyes have gone out, not you. So the next step by evolution, we feel that I am these organs. Then I understand that cannot be I at all. Just now, he has explained in detail the gross, subtle, and causal bodies. None of them I am. Now, here a little I want to add. This word kosha, some people say, is Shankaracharya's word, not the original Upanishad words. Agreed. Not Taittiriya Upanishad's original word, but in some other Upanishad I found the word kosha. Now it is an elementary knowledge. First we feel that is myself. And when we know what is that is not myself, I am inside what I will call it, I will call it kosha. Then I understand without mind nothing functions. I am mind. To reach this state takes a long time. That I am my mind. And I am using these organs, living in this body, interacting with the outside world. I am mind. And I am using these indriyas, living in this body to interact with the outside world. So I know I am not the indriyas. Indriyas only, as he told, bhoga sadhanam. So I am not the indriyas. Then what will the indriyas be called? Kosha. Because I am inside. First I felt indriyas as Atman. By evolution I understood that I am not that. I am the mind. And so the indriyas are called kosha. Then I go still inside. This mind has no touch of consciousness. Mind, just now he has shown, is made of the subtle elements only, matter in a subtler form, mixture of all five fundamental elements. That is mind. So what I am? I am the I consciousness. There is a consciousness in me, and that consciousness is of the form I consciousness. And this I consciousness is my nature, real nature. That is what I feel first. And this I consciousness uses the mind to coordinate the indriyas, uses the indriyas, lives in the body to interact with the outside world. So all these three become kosher then. I am not the mind. I thought I am the mind, but by evolution, I understood that I am what? I am consciousness. I consciousness. Now here let me tell you, this is the start of spiritual life. Unless you purify our body, indriyas, and mind, we do not reach even this state to understand that I am I consciousness. Jiva is this I consciousness. Shvatashvatar Upanishad has beautifully told that unless you come to this point, religion has not started for you. So when I know that I am I consciousness, mind and all this become cautious. And then I understand this I is a reflection. I consciousness is a reflection of the universal consciousness, of the consciousness one without a second, which is my real nature, Atman, which I call God, which I call Brahman. All these three I explained on the first day. They are different names. And so that is my real nature. Why? This I changes. That day I told you, a small child's eye is very different from the old man's eye. So this I consciousness changes. So it is not my real nature. Then this I consciousness becomes a kosha. It is called Vijnanamaya kosha. Annamaya Kosha, body. Pranamaya Kosha, the vital energies, Indriyas and all that. Manomaya Kosha, the mind. Vijnanamaya Kosha, because the consciousness is there now. So it is called Vijnana. Consciousness has come, but it is a reflected consciousness. So this I consciousness is called Vijnanamaya Kosha. When I go inside to find myself, what will happen? This is the start of meditation. Meditate on this and meditate on that is not meditation. I consciousness trying to find its own source. This is meditation. And when it turns inside to find who is I, what will come? First of all, bliss, anandam. As soon as I will describe it in a different way. God is inside me, my real nature. This I has turned inside and has got some connection with God. Sometimes I feel God is my mother, God is my father. They are only different forms of association with God. God is my mother, that means that is the source and the effect. Some people feel God is my child because I become so much attracted to that. So, the association with God immediately produces joy. And the joy is not a joy produced by touching of my sense organ to outside. No. It is not a joy by my thinking or feeling something in the mind. No. It is a joy produced by I trying to get connected with its source, and this union gives joy. This union may be of a relational type. He is my husband, he is my wife. You know, in India, there is a Madhura Bhava. That means whether man or woman thinking that I am the wife and God is my husband. I am a feminine lover. God is my beloved. Now, just the opposite of this is felt by the Sufis. Sufis, I believe that because they came from Arab countries, they could never feel they are woman. In Sufi literature, we find they are men and God is the beloved girl. These are feelings giving joy. Now we don't have to go inside further. The basis of this is God. This is called Anandamaya Kosha, not because inside that something is there, then inside will go. The Adhar, the base of this is God. You understand? I trying to reach God. In between is bliss. And when I reach God, the bedrock, I become dissolved in it. There is no more I. When I reflection tries to reach its reality, joy comes. And the joy increases. Along with the joy increases, the pain also is there that I have not yet got. I am still separate. So this combination draws me still further and further inside. And then the I is lost. That is my real nature. That is God. That is Brahman. That is Atman. So we understood now 5 koshas. The Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha, and Anandamaya kosha. Because during the travel, I am getting bliss, but it is not the reality. Reality is the source from which Ananda comes. The name of the reality is Ananda in its own nature, or Rasam. Rasam means that which gives joy. God is called Rasam. Rasam eva labdha anandi bhavati. Experiencing this, we get joy. He is called joy also because joy in its own nature. We become that joy. We do not enjoy. We become that joy. So now, Atman, Upadhi, Atman is in touch with, real nature of Atman is in touch with all of this. The consciousness or the bliss gets reflected on high consciousness. It percolates to mind, it percolates to Indriyas, it percolates to the body, and there is interaction. So, Panchakoshadi Yogena, by being associated with Panchakoshas, Tattanmaya Ivasthita, as if it is that, as if, as if my real nature is mind, as if my real nature is Indriya, as if my real nature is body. We just saw now from outside to inside. But like this, Eva, like this, Atman is there. Atman stays. Shuddhatma. The nature of Atman is Shuddha. No mixture, nothing of this sort. Example. Neela Vastradi Yogena Spatiko Yatha. There is a crystal. And near the crystal were kept blue cloth. The crystal appears blue. Crystal has not become blue. In Rameshwaram, I was fortunate enough, early morning, Arati is done to a Spatikalinga, a linga made of this crystal. And when the light is waved, it appears inside that crystal light is going on. If milk Abhishek is there, we feel milk is going inside. That is the example given to understand. When the Atman comes in association with it, it appears like that. It appears that I am the I consciousness. That is not my real nature. It appears that I am mind. It appears I am Indriyas, I am the body. Just like a Spatika appears blue by association with a blue cloth near it. So, Panchakoshadi Yogena Tattanmaya Ivastitaha Shuddhatma. Shuddha means no coloring or nothing is there in the Atma. It is one without a second. Neela Vastradi Yogena Spatiko Yatha. So, we could not read many shlokas because very fundamental ideas were there. We have read 5 shlokas today. We have come up to 14. Okay? One small announcement, all of you know that Monday I was having a Karma Yoga class as arranged by Advaita Ashram. Now it is tomorrow also. Monday and Thursday, twice a week, that class will be there. So tomorrow also, Karma Yoga class will be there. And we will meet again on Friday. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanam.